Alright guys, what's going on? So we're back with the Galaxies again. I realized I never even showed you guys the red car where it was. I'm kind of swapping spots between the two cars. So we left off with this one. I'm going ahead and I'm just spraying some primer on the back of the car right now just so all the bare metal spots I did all the bodywork to don't corrode. So I'm going to spray that on there. Man, this thing just looks good. I can't get over it. It looks awesome just sitting over here. For now, while it just kind of waits for the 4-link, you know, I can chill over here, but I gotta start getting some of the stuff inside out of it so I can get it all cleaned up, ready to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and just throw some primer on all these spots right here. I had to metal work these out a little bit. There were a couple low spots, but I got that all hammered out, so it's good to go now. So I'm gonna go ahead and primer those and get that out of the way, and then we'll start focusing on the red car. I'd say that looks pretty good. You can see everything's all nice one color, one shade. When it's all one color, it looks way better. All the time I've noticed that. That won't corrode, at least for now. It'll all get sanded off eventually, but it'll work. And now I guess I might as well show you my amazing impulse buy, which I do all the time, but this one's a little bit different. So I purchased this, which is I can't remember what it was. It was a big Super 60 axle. I can't remember what year F250 or 350 it was out of. But it's got the massive forward locking hubs. Actually bought this and then sold it to Travis pretty much right after I bought it for what I paid for it. And he's probably gonna put it in his truck, which is gonna be sick. So he's gonna go from a 44 front out of a Highboy to a Super 60, which is sick. I mean, look at how big the links on this thing are. It's already got mounts for coilovers. It's already got Heim steering with bungs. It's already got a bunch of cool stuff. It's got 410 gears already, disc brakes, a lot of cool stuff on it. It's exceptionally heavy for an axle, so that's kind of why it's sitting here instead of somewhere else. But yeah, like I said, total impulse buy. Probably shouldn't have bought it, but I got some coilovers out of it that I probably won't use on anything either. But you know, whatever, it is what it is. Pretty much got the axle for Travis at this point. But now we can kind of take a break from this car for a minute to focus on the red one. I think we're gonna start cutting all the old sheet metal off and get ready for the new auto metal direct panels. All right, you guys, we get to get back to this thing. So as you guys know, we swapped spots. There's no car here anymore. But yeah, I didn't even realize I didn't even like show this in the other video. We kind of just skipped over it entirely, so my bad. But yeah, switch spots. This one's back under the awning where it should be because we finished the white car in terms of metal. So now I got to get the rest of these quarter panel skins off to replace them and prep them for the auto metal direct panels. Still got to gap this door. It's not perfect yet. And then just basically cut off all the old stuff because we're not trying to really save anything at this point. We've already used and saved everything that we needed to for the white car. So at this point, everything else can get just hucked in the trash and cut off aggressively. I'm gonna go ahead and finish peeling off the back of this thing and then, you know, go ahead and split this seam all the way up to the deck panel, get the deck panel off, because if you guys haven't seen, this is the issue with this car. The deck panel was always rotted out on it. So we got a brand new one of those we're gonna pop on, and then both the quarters. And then I guess whatever little bit is left on this part of the quarter. You guys did see that we ended up taking the door jamb part out of this car to put in the white car. So it's already separated all the way down. So we just got to do really just this upper half right here, and then that whole thing's off. And to answer a bunch of your guys' questions, which I've been getting on why I was even bothering cutting the panels off of this car. The reason I cut the old panels off of this car is, as I said, Auto Metal Direct is sponsoring the build for both these cars, and they were willing to supply a set of panels for the car. So I had to pick which car the panels went on. And ultimately, as you guys know, I'm keeping this one. This is the car for me. So I wanted to put the new sheet metal on my car and then take whatever I had, which was spare, work it out as best I can, which really came out a lot better than I was expecting, and then put that into the white car and make a really nice showpiece out of it as well. So really both cars I'm building to the best of my ability, but all my nicer of the two that I have goes into my personal car because, well, it's mine. So instead of using the 60-year-old metal that has a little bit of pits in it here and there, and it's not, you know, new anymore, I might as well use the new stuff on this car. So that's the whole reason we cut the panels out to begin with, because I had a set of quarter panels and they were gonna go on one of the two cars. Ultimately, yes, the white car needed it more than this one, but I figured, you know, if I'm putting them on this car, I can use the old panels from this car to fix the white one, which is what we did. So now that being said, we just have to cut the access here, and then we'll basically just pop these quarter panels on in one big piece. There's no sense in stitching this thing. I thought about it, but it's actually a lot easier from what I've heard and what I've talked to. They just cut everything off, slip it right in one big piece, line it up, and then stitch weld it in, and you're done. So I'm really thinking in about a week we should be able to do both quarter panels and the upper deck panel in this car, and that sheet metal is done, because as you can see, the trunk is really good, floors are amazing in this car, and other than that, it's pretty much ready to go get the motor set in it. So enough talking about this. I'm gonna go ahead and finish getting these quarter panels cut off and start prepping for the new sheet metal. I think one of the
things that I forgot to mention also is I live in the middle of nowhere in terms of San Diego. So anywhere and everywhere basically is a minimum of a 30-minute drive. So for me to go to a Home Depot or a Lowe's or a Walmart is quite literally a 30 to 35-minute drive at the shortest. And so right now, just because I'm down here at the next city over, which is 30 minutes away from me, it's almost convenient to go to an In-N-Out because it's the only thing here. So I think I'm gonna go get my little air hammer and stop by In-N-Out, just kind of rub it in all the East Coast guys, because I can do that. Which is also one of the reasons that Sean and I are trying to move into a different space, is so we're closer to everything. So stuff like Home Depot, Harbor Freight, Walmart, stuff like that is super convenient other than this 30-minute commute. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and head in there and hopefully pick up my air hammer. I'm gonna be pissed if they don't have it. Ah, there it is, look at that. What a beautiful sight. Oh yeah, I haven't had this in a minute. All right, got the good stuff. Looks like they had it, which is pretty cool. So I'll test this thing out over on this turd, see how she does. So that's the tool I got, just another air hammer. This one seems to work pretty well. But the main thing is I got this little big kit. Both these I got at Lowe's. So it's like a five-piece kit. But this is the most important piece, and this is the whole reason I bought the kit, because I couldn't just buy this on its own. So what this allows you to do is you kind of wedge it in between two pieces of metal and it cuts it. So I'll be able to go through the whole quarter panel, cut it all off really quickly. I would use my plasma cutter, but I don't want to generate a bunch of heat for no reason. And this is super easy and clean, doesn't have any heat, really nice, easy to work with. So we're gonna try it out.
Alright guys, so I got most of this thing off now. And you can see this is basically what the entire back section's off. So now I just got to finish up around the back window area and do the front part. I'm not going to cut this off yet. I might just leave it actually for right now because I still need to get out this door, which takes a pretty good amount of time. I don't know what's going on, but I cannot get it lined up right. It's close, but it's not perfect. And when it's not perfect, I'm not going to pull the quarter panel off because the door is what I gap it with. So I need to make sure that's good before I do that. The other thing I got to do, kind of start splitting along this seam in here and get the rest of this deck panel peeled off, get that out of the way. and then do the this part of the drip rail part on the trunk on that side. So I'm gonna finish this up. Alright guys, one thing I've totally realized of this whole thing is it takes 3 times as long to remove a quarter panel than it does to put it on, and I'll show you what I mean. So I've gotten pretty much everything off at this point, or at least for the most part. Everything in the back here is done, up here is done. I think the only spot I haven't done yet is just this top part. This top part right here, but it's good enough to a point to where I could probably hang the quarter to kind of get some ideas of what everything's gonna fit like. So that's what I'm gonna do now. So I have the upper deck panel on the roof, I'm gonna lay that out. I'm gonna go get the quarter panel and start mocking this thing up. Just get an idea real quick to see what I'm working with.
You got into my mind, you got into my mind. But all I ever wanted was you. But you left me alone inside these empty, broken walls. And I can't see it clearly, but it's obvious. I know that you left me alone inside this empty, broken hall. And now you'll be the reason why my soul is tainted. So how can I fix this? 'Cause I need to stop the aching in my head. My heart is breaking. Yeah, I'm tired of being stuck in the past. Think of me and see the things I did. Sold my soul and everything I was to the lowest bid. Crawled into your
Alright guys, so this took a lot longer than I wanted to, but the hardest part about this is cutting all the old stuff off, like I said before. But the quarter panel is now hung and it looks so much better. So I had gotten asked multiple times, you know, why didn't I leave the red quarter panel on the car? This was the reason. And because I did this, I was able to repair the white car. So it's really the whole purpose behind why I swapped panels. A little bit more work, but in the long run I think it's worth it. You know, just setting it on there, this thing is laser straight, it's perfect. This auto metal direct panel fits incredibly. I just kind of threw it on there real quick and you can see everything lines up like it should, all the way forward and backwards. This upper deck panel is going to fit quite nicely in there. I don't have the other quarter panel on, I still have more stuff to cut off on that side, but regardless, I just wanted to kind of get a feel for how everything fit and looks. If I push the bottom in there, then the door lines up. So I'm pretty happy about that. But this thing looks killer. I'm super happy with the way this turned out so far. It's just crazy to look at, crazy to think that this car, it's weird because like both cars have red, white, and black on them. So it's really kind of confusing to see the primer, the white spots, the black spots, the red spots, and kind of look at them and be like, wait a minute, what car am I even working on? But you can see the difference just by taking the quarter panel off. I go to this side. So this is exactly what you would see if you took the quarter panel off. The only thing on this side was I didn't trim off this spot yet right here and all the way to the front and the door jamb because like I said, I was still gapping this door. So I think the next thing I'm gonna go ahead and do is come back when I have all of this stuff cleaned up and both panels on. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick this video back up in the morning so you can kind of get a feel for what this entire car is gonna look like. Alright guys, well it's taken forever to get all of this old stuff off. I'm surrounded by shards of sharp metal, but it's finally done. So got everything removed, the upper deck panel and both the quarter panels, and here's kind of what we're working with. So I underestimated actually how long it would take me to get this stuff off. It actually took me a full 2 days to get everything off, but we have the quarter mocked up here, the new one. At just a rough fit. I mean, nothing's set in stone. You can still see I have a gap right here I gotta close, and then you know that all fits like it should. Other than that, door jamb fits good. But on the other side, I got this all off. This was a pain. This side was a little bit more tricky to do, but mostly because I had to line this door up, and for whatever reason this door, it's got to be bent or something, but it took me over 3 hours to get this door gapped, and it's still not perfect. It's close enough to where I can metal work it out and get the quarter to fit with the door after, but it's just for whatever reason there's a high spot, like by the door handle it sticks out like maybe a little bit less than 1/8 of an inch and just bugs the hell out of me. So it's good enough for now, it'll work. Ignore this gap because this is just thrown on here for reference, but everything's pretty much fully naked at this point. So this is kind of what we're working with. Everything's kind of you know, fully exposed. So I got a couple panels to straighten out. You know, I messed this up pretty good because there's like 4 pieces of metal that come into one weld. It's really hard to split them without destroying them. So I got to go through here and do some rust converter on everything, actually clean up all these spot welds and get these all ground off, and then go ahead and actually put some weld through primer on everything and get the new panels put on. So, you know, if I stand back here a little bit, everything's, you know, looks like it should. Everything still stays true. It looks good. And I'm really excited to see how the new panels all go on and look when they're installed. So in the next video with this car, we're actually going to be installing and mocking up panels. I don't know if we'll fully weld them quite yet, but we're going to be doing some more fitting with these things. But stay tuned for that. Like the video if you did enjoy. It would really mean a lot to me. Subscribe if you are new. Let me do think down in the comments, and I will leave a link down to Automotive Direct's website if you guys are looking for more panels for your own car and your own rust converter projects. So massive thank you to Automotive Direct for working with me on this car, and I'll see you guys in the next video. You guys are not going to want to miss it. See you guys.